as I was saying, and as just came out, the Dayton situation, he was a fan of Antifa. He was a fan of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Nothing to do with Trump, but nobody ever mentions that. No, I don't blame Elizabeth Warren, and I don't blame Bernie Sanders in the case of Ohio, and I don't blame anybody. I blame, these are sick people. These are people that are really mentally ill, mentally disturbed. It's a mental problem, and we're going to be meeting with members of Congress.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to look at Jeffrey Epstein's handler slash financier slash patron, Leslie Wexner of the Victoria's Secret Fortune, a billionaire in his own right, coming out and claiming that he never gave Jeffrey Epstein any money, but that Jeffrey Epstein mishandled vast sums of money from his financial empire that he was not aware of. I'm sure that's really what happened. We're going to take a look at that story, plus a whole bunch of others. So I hope you guys stick around and enjoy. Hey guys, just want to let you know, this video is being sponsored by apexhealth.club. You guys should go check out their website, and on it, you can find this incredible book, QAnon, An Invitation to the Great Awakening. Now, this book has a compilation of many different authors who have come together to talk about the history up till this point of QAnon and the Great Awakening. It's a great gift for your husband or wife, or your kids, or your grandparents, if you want to let them know about QAnon and you're not sure where to start. So I encourage all of you to go to apexhealth.club and use promo code Craig to get 10% off your purchase of this book, QAnon, An Invitation to the Great Awakening. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I always like to begin by saying thank you to everybody who hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when these videos get posted. That helps the channel out big time. We're picking up right where we left off. We left off at QPost 3570, and of course, as you can see here, that was on August 1st, 2019, and we're back in another holding pattern, and it seems as though the board has been shut down temporarily where Q posts. And I know people right now who are working with the owners of the website and a lot of the board operators, board owners. Look, they are working on a way to fix this. This board will be back up soon, and we will be getting more Q posts in the near future. You can mark my words on that. But in the meantime, we are basically continually being inundated with more and more breaking news stories, like the one we're going to be talking about here today with Jeffrey Epstein's handler, seemingly, and financier, Leslie Wexner, who's now coming out and saying that he never gave millions of dollars to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein mishandled vast sums of his fortune, right? Yeah, like I believe that. And not only that, we're going to talk about a bunch of different news stories, things that are happening today, stories that you need to pay attention to because the mainstream media will not report them. And if they do, they'll just take the whole story out of context. And by the time you're done with a fake news story, they're basically talking about how everyone in half the country's white supremacists, which is the most asinine and stupid, ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And they're showing people their true colors. But I think there's a very good reason why they're coming out so hard against President Trump right now with this racist rhetoric that they continually push from the left against the right. We're going to take a look at that, plus a whole lot more. But before we get into that, I always encourage everyone, please come back here, watch these last few videos if you want to get caught up on what's going on here on the channel. Make sure you share them on your social media and get the word out that way. Also, don't forget to come here and watch this video, which is about QAnon, the Great Awakening. So if you're not sure what it is, watch this video, share this on your social media, and get this word out as however you can. And the one reason I always ask everyone to come back here and do this is quite simple. There is an algorithmic bias that is subliminally implemented by the people at Google and YouTube. It's an algorithmic discrimination that actually is working to hinder and suppress the ability of this content to reach many people. So there's an active force at hand that is trying to suppress free speech and content. And you're looking at it right here. So the way we get around that, there's a little share button at the bottom of this video. Go down, click that, share this, get it out there, and that's how we get around them. So with that being said, one thing I wanted to start with is a post we got a very long time ago, back in November of 2017, one of the first Q posts we ever got. And it ties everything together, I think, in a neat little bow to where we are today, right? And people are going to go, well, how is something from 2017 going to tie things in a bow today? Well, this is a part of what Q is. Q is a plan that has been ongoing for quite some time. Q existed before this anonymous poster or posters started posting on 8chan. Okay. And that's the thing I think people tend to really not understand when they start to, join the Great Awakening and understand the plan and understand what QAnon is. They fail to comprehend the idea that there have been several levels to this operation for a very long time, and that perhaps, and I'm just throwing this out there, QAnon was just a convenient thing that took off that was then co-opted by the people who were running the plan originally. And these people who I'm talking about are great patriots who love this country, who were fully aware from different intelligence sources, surveillance systems, of the corruption and criminality of the top echelons, especially in our political class, and they were ready to act and move. And if President Trump hadn't gotten elected, you can mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, there would have been military officers in the White House arresting whoever won, presumably Hillary Clinton. That's my humble opinion. Okay. And we dodged that bullet, and now we're trying to save our democracy. But the mainstream media is doing everything they can to destroy it. And they've come after 8chan now. They've come after, they continually DDoS and attack the vote boards. They're coming after free speech on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And they're biasing the search results on Google. So they're technologically speaking, these big tech companies are doing everything they can to suppress us, to shut us down, and to wipe us out, because they're starting to realize that we are for real. We're not just some, random occurrence. We're not some glitch in their matrix. We are actually the glitch in the matrix, if you will. Not just the small one. We are the one that they can't account for, if that makes sense. So what does this have to do with anything? This was something Q told us way back at the beginning, 2017. My signatures all reference upcoming events about to drop. If this hasn't been caught on, Snow White, Godfather 3, Q. So now we figured out what these things mean, right? We know that Snow White talks about supercomputers and the NSA and what happened, the whole deception of Edward Snowden, how he was trained by the clowns in action. Take the first letter of each of those three words, and you know what agency I'm talking about. One of the alphabet soup agencies. The clowns in action trained Snowden to infiltrate the NSA, to undermine their surveillance system so that they could commit these crimes without being documented or surveilled. And Godfather 3 is the connection to this criminal network that they were tapping into. Godfather 3 represents the connection to this global ring of criminality, whether it's human trafficking or occultism or corruption or financial corruption or political corruption, whatever it is. There is a global network that was being tapped into by our political elites. They were taking millions and millions of dollars in. They were siphoning billions of dollars out of our treasury and out of our coffers into the hands of our presumable enemies, people like Iran who chant death to America. And Q told us about this back in November of 2017 with the foresight to know that certain events would take place at a later time. I don't know how many times people have said this 10 days post is relevant to an event that's occurring, but I'll tell you what, if there ever was an event that was relevant to something occurring, there is the fact that somebody pointed this out, and this is why I pointed it up. So the mainstream media today came out with a story. They literally had somebody on their airwaves that said that President Trump's tweet about having the flags be raised back up from half-staff on August 8th was some secret prison code language to the Aryan Brotherhood inside of the state prison systems across our country, the federal prison system. So apparently President Trump is a secret white supremacist. If you didn't know, just turn on MSNBC or CNN for like 10 minutes, and I'm sure somebody will say either the word racist or white supremacist or white nationalist, basically all of the pejoratives you could imagine somebody could think of using the term white, which is disgusting in and of itself to watch this just disgusting and sickening rhetoric being thrown across the airwaves, where they say, oh, well, it's obvious that because President Trump sneezed once and the tissue he used was white, then therefore he's obviously a white supremacist who's throwing secret signals out to his white supremacist followers. So the reason I bring this up is some anon pointed out something more interesting. Maybe the 88 wasn't referring to the secret jail code for the Aryan Brotherhood, as MSNBC would have you believe. And maybe it's referring to Q Post 88, something a lot more simple, and in referring to this 10 days of darkness. And it says, now remember, reading this today, this was written 2 years ago, and it still has some very big truth in it. 10 days, darkness, scare tactics, MSM, Democrats falling, Republicans walk away removed, Saudi Arabia, US, Asia, EU, disinformation is real, distractions are necessary, focus was US today, while real happening in Saudi Arabia under same context, military control, martial law, missile strike rogue, etc. Necessary, POTUS Twitter attack, see above, important. Why is this relevant? Why was the last tweet by POTUS prior to Saudi Arabia? Why is this relevant? Saudi Arabia 1, US 2, Asia 3, EU 4. Where is POTUS? Why is this relevant? Military operations, operators in US, Snow White, The Great Awakening, Godfather 3, Q. Obviously, I'm not going to connect everything back to things that are happening today, but one thing that's interesting is that we are in a period of darkness right now where Q couldn't post if he wanted to, because the mainstream media has pushed the big tech elite censors into deplatforming the 8chan board as a whole, right? So this is technically 10 days of darkness. And, well, I mean, depending on if it lasts 10 days from today, or from the first day that the board was brought down, which was a few days ago. So this could be what was being referenced. And I'm only saying that in the fact that we're still talking today about Godfather 3. That's where we're at. A lot of this seems to be very, very predictive in its structure. And, you know, I'm just bringing this to your attention to remind you that this operation has been well thought out and planned, and that a lot of these elements were told to us a long time ago and have continually come true the further we go along. So I thought that was interesting. Now, here's a great one. This is just this shows you what the big tech elites are. It says, this is talking about Mitch McConnell's Twitter account. It says, Twitter says it locked Team Mitch's account for violating its violent threats policy by posting a video of protesters calling for violence against Mitch McConnell. I don't even know what to say. And then McConnell's campaign manager just happened to write back a note saying that Twitter allowed the hashtag massacre Mitch to trend. So this is what we're up against, right? You have mobs of deranged adult toddlers standing outside of Mitch McConnell's house talking about enacting violence against him. I'm not even going to repeat some of the things they said. They said disgusting things, but they did make references to stabbing him and breaking his neck, right? While cursing him out and calling him awful things. Now, that is what the left says. When you retweet that, when Mitch says, here's a retweet, these are what the people are doing to me. These are what these violent leftist extremists who are threatening violence and death threats against me are doing to show the American people what's happening. Twitter says, you're violating our policies. But they are the same company that puts in their trending section the hashtag massacre Mitch. These people are sick, disgusting, evil, in my opinion, and they have a little regard for human life, and that's what we're up against here, truly. As Google employees continue to come out, here's another Google employee that has come forward, I don't know, voluntarily or not, but I guess on her Twitter account, this person who is the U.S. Partnerships Manager for Google News Labs, no kidding, it's Google News, of course, saying this, saying, I remember when my bosses at a women's media company were actively encouraging me to go on Tucker Carlson's show. Anyone who goes on this show is complicit in helping him spread his dangerous propaganda. So this is This is how you devolve, I should say, down into a conflict. They're trying to push a conflict right now. See, the puppet masters at top who know that they're being indicted, they're being investigated, they're going to be exposed, and they're going to be brought to justice. They're trying to position all of their little minions like Ashley and brainwash them into believing that having a conversation in and of itself is dangerous. So talking, if you have an idea that I disagree with, we can't have a conversation because that's dangerous for you, because you're such a sensitive snowflake, Ashley, that your brain cannot, you can't process a point of view that is not yours, right? Which is the level. It's like I said, these people are adult toddlers. That's the same mindset a toddler has, when they put their fingers in the air and they say, no, make noise and say, no, I'm right and you're wrong, or la, 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 whatever. That's what these people are doing, right? They're so, I don't even know. I'm at a loss of words to describe these people, because it's a combination of arrogance, stupidity, and ignorance. There's got to be a better word that sums all that up. But this is where we're at. This is where our culture is devolving into, and this is what will push a conflict, and this is what's going to push more conflict within our society. And then these liars, these fake news liars, get on TV and say, oh, it's because of the white supremacists, and it's because of Nazis, and President Trump's a racist. And you're like, no, your psychotic ideology of narrow-mindedness and an inability to have dialogue and conversation to effectively debate instead of just dismiss, that's what is the problem. But they don't understand that. President Trump announcing now that they're putting together an anti-conservative bias bill, executive order that's going to combat this. This better happen soon, because Google has ratcheted it up, just as Facebook and Twitter and Yahoo and all of these fake liars. These are fake news organizations, liars, manipulators. They're the most deceitful people you'll ever meet in your lives. And they're the ones who we are going to have to band together and stand up against, because they're very powerful. And that's just the way it is right now. The exact wording of it and everything is yet to be determined, but they apparently at the White House are circulating drafts of a proposed executive order that would address allegations of anti-conservative bias by social media companies. So, and they're going to explore all regulatory and legislative solutions. So I'm just hoping that they come up with something quick, because it's getting more and more pronounced every day. Now, one of the biggest things they have to combat is this National Defense Authorization Act, which was an amendment to the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948, which actually allows, you won't believe this, but this actually allows the U.S. government to use propaganda against its own citizens. And I think that's where the fake news gets their gall and audacity. That's where they get this air of entitlement that they can lie to you. And it's like, it's the what they say, they can, don't, what on me and tell me it's raining. Well, they're whating on us every single day. And they're telling us it's a beautiful rain shower, a sun shower, and don't worry. That's all they do. And it's not President Trump in some Russian hotel. It is metaphorically the mainstream media in this country on the American people every single day. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. And these individuals that perpetuate these lies make me even sicker. New story coming out talking about Robert Mueller's peculiar 9-minute press conference. Well, it probably has a lot to do with the fact that there was this exchange between Tom McClintock and Robert Mueller when he was giving his testimony, where they probed him on the fact that the judge who was overseeing this Russia hacker hoax, whatever you want to call it, when he brought indictments against all the Russians who were using their Russian government-controlled supposedly farms, well, it talked about the fact that the judge in that case threatened to hold Robert Mueller's prosecutors in contempt for misrepresenting evidence and lying to the American people. The U.S. District Court Judge Dabney Friedrich, who presided over the special counsel's case against the two Russian internet trolling firms, wished to question prosecutors from the Mueller team about a concern she shared with the defendant's attorney. She called for a closed hearing to be held on May 28th. Judge Friedrich and the defendant's attorneys claimed that Mueller report contained misleading language about the Russian government's role in 2016 election interference. Recently released court documents suggest she insisted on changes and privately threatened to hold Mueller's team in criminal contempt of court. So because of this testimony that he gave earlier to Representative Tom McClintock, where he said, no, that the judge never threatened to hold prosecutors in contempt for misrepresenting evidence, that could have been an example of perjury, perjuring himself, on Capitol Hill. And then it goes further basically in the story to talk about how the hastily put together press conference was all about damage control, because he had to insert some line that basically said, that they weren't 100% sure about what happened with whether or not the Russian government was involved with these Russian hackers or Russian social trolls, whatever you want to call them, social media trolls. So it's all just a complete joke. It's laughable, the levels at which this ridiculousness goes, to me at least. Another story coming out here from our favorite fake news reporter at the Daily Beast, Will Sommer. He's telling us now that a Trump campaign ad features a QAnon sign. Wow, they took a picture of a crowd of tens of thousands of people, and they zoom in on the one sign that's got a Q on it, and now it's a big story because this is signs that promote the QAnon conspiracy theory, which Will Sommer has dedicated his life to disproving because he is an arbiter of truth in our society. And I say that as sarcastically as I humanly can, because he is a detestable human being, in my opinion, and he's one of the people who goes and attacks, in my opinion, humble opinion at least. As a reporter, he goes out and he finds individuals and goes after them, and he goes after anything related to Q, because he's obviously made it his lot in life to basically try to disprove something that we've proven over and over and over again. So, Will, my best advice to you: take your time and spend it more wisely. Maybe report on the news that's actually happening. Maybe report on something like this, the story about Leslie Wexner, the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret, saying that the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein misappropriated at least $46 million from him. Well, I'll tell you what, it's always convenient that as soon as the guy that you're giving millions of dollars to is convicted or is brought under indictment and arrested for sex trafficking of children, that then you really distance yourself and claim that all of his work was, in the words of Leslie Wexner, quote, that Jeffrey Epstein, quote, misappropriated vast sums of money, unquote, from his fortune while Epstein was his financial advisor. So this is, to me, is on its face exactly what it looks like. It is this billionaire who was obviously the handler of Jeffrey Epstein, who may have connections back to other organizations, including possibly Mossad, and just throwing that out there if you want to keep digging deeper on that, Anons. But look, $46 million, that's just the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion. And this is just a story that's being put out there to not only distance himself from Jeffrey Epstein, but then to distance himself from the financial support that supposedly he was giving to Epstein, and the fact that nobody can really put together still to this day how Epstein became a billionaire. And only the best guesses at this point are that this guy Leslie Wexner was one of his primary clients and helped make him a billionaire. So you have to ask yourself, these I don't want to, some people say you are the company you keep. I'm one of the people that, you are who you are as an individual, but this looks suspicious, and there's a lot of people digging deeper every day on Leslie Wexner and his family fortune. But look, This is the story. It's just coming out. I thought I'd bring it to you, so you've been just informed here today. And that's pretty much it. But a few more things before we go. Obviously, if you want to help out the channel, come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, watch these videos, share them on your social media, get the word out that way, and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. Also, before we go, if you're wanting to do something different, why don't you try out the Brave browser? Now, what is it? Google Chrome, Windows Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox. Those are all internet browsers. Brave is another internet browser, but it's a better one. It blocks ads, and that goes a huge way. It saves you time. It saves you the hassle and aggravation of trying to find what's on the page, what's real, what's an ad, whatever. It's a great tool. Come here to the link in the description. Download the Brave browser. You won't regret it, I promise. And make sure you install it and run it. And every time you visit Just Informed Talks YouTube channel, Brave will actually make a contribution to my channel. So this is a great way to support the channel and to make your internet experience that much better. So I would encourage you to check out the Brave browser. Use the link in the description below. Also, here it is, the American Priority Conference in Miami at the Trump National Hotel in Doral, the Blue Monster Golf Course. For those of you who know golf, there's going to be a charity golf tournament, a charity celebrity golf tournament, I should say, charity celebrity poker tournament, a bunch of incredible speakers. We're going to have everyone from Jason Chaffetz to Dinesh D'Souza to Matt Gaetz to Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk, and also Sarah Sanders, and I'm sure more people will be signing up. This is a great event. I would encourage all of you to go get your tickets today before they sell out. Link will be in the description to this if you guys want to go check that out. Also, a couple other ways you can help out the channel. You can come over here and find me at justinformednews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk. Links to the Q stuff, links to different news websites. Also, you have the breaking news here, and of course, the latest videos from the channel, so you can go check that out. Also, if you want to help out financially, I have a Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. Look, you guys keep this channel alive. There's been demonetization. They've come after this channel. I'm doing my best to keep it afloat, and you guys keep me going. So every time you come here, you just come here. You click this button. It's a monthly donation. You set it and forget it, and know you're helping create content on this channel. Your support is what keeps this channel alive. Also, I have a GoFundMe set up. If you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation, these are great ways to help keep the channel up and running in the face of the fact that YouTube's demonetized my whole channel now, basically. And they've decided to just come at this channel hard to get it shut down. But you guys stood up and have supported it and kept it alive. So thank you so much for your support, truly from the bottom of my heart. Now, before we go, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. For today, I want to share this verse out of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 25 through 32, and we'll talk about it a little bit after. I just want to share these words with you. It says, "Since you put away lying, speak the truth, each one to his neighbor, because we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. Don't let the sun go down on your anger, and don't give the devil an opportunity. The thief must no longer steal. Instead, he must do honest work with his own hands, so that he has something to share with anyone in need. No rotten talk should come from your mouth, but only what is good for the building up of someone in need, in order to give grace to those who hear. And don't grieve God's Holy Spirit, who sealed you for the day of redemption. All bitterness, anger, and wrath, insult, and slander must be removed from you, along with all wickedness, and be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as God also forgave you in Christ." This is a message that I try to remind myself every day. It's the hardest one, right? I mean, think about what it's telling us to do there. It tells us to be kind and compassionate to one another, to forgive one another, just as God forgave us through Christ. It's so easy to look at the world and these people who are so lost. That's the way I feel. You know, a lot of these people who say these awful, disgusting things, I think they've lost their way. They don't have a strong faith in God. They don't embrace the fact that God has given everything for them so that they may have eternal salvation. And society twists them and manipulates them and deceives them, and the devil comes in with his tricks and his complete deception, and he just totally prevents people from understanding that we are but one through Christ, our Lord, who died on the cross for our sins. They have it. We all have eternal salvation through our Lord. We just have to embrace it. The gift was given, and all we have to do is embrace it. So I always encourage everyone, say a prayer. That's all you have to do. Start the conversations. Light a little fire in your heart. It could just be a little candle flame, but trust that the more you pray, the more you believe, the more you show God your faith, and you don't just go through life without it, and you build that faith and you grow it, God will show you. He'll give you blessings. He'll multiply your blessings. He'll do things that your heart and your mind could never imagine. And then once you see that, it becomes so much easier to want to share that with others. But even when you don't see it yet, if it seems like it's difficult and nothing's getting better, trust in God and keep persevering and keep spreading that message, not just for yourself, but for others, so that others may see the glory of God and be drawn to it and be saved, because that's why we're here on this earth. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, come here if you haven't. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure to buff notifications and hit it, tap it, bop it, elbow it, knee it, whatever. Hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.